One, two, three, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? DD Qyad here, back again with another team building episode guide thingamajig. You know what it's all about. Whoa, season 4 MBA. Wow. How long are we going to keep doing this? I mean, honestly, like 5 seasons, I guess. I think 5 seasons, probably the grand finale. Be done with it. Just kidding. Anyway, so guys, here to just kind of give some insight on team building. It's really tough, I feel, in just league format in general, because in standard play, you can really just get away with 252 speed, 252 attack, whatever, you know what I mean. Just max, and be done with it. But in league, there's a lot more going on because you know what your opponent's bringing, so you definitely have to consider, look at his team, think about maybe you want to run a little less speed, just so you're outspeeding the fastest thing, and then going maybe an HP so you can live a hit, making 2 hit KOs into 3 hit KOs, or maybe making yourself a bit of a mixed attacker so you can get some extra damage off. It's really something you have to kind of play around with, trial and error, and hopefully maybe a quick little some input from me. Maybe we can help, I guess. It seemed okay. Whoa, stumbled through that intro pretty well. So I'm just going to hop right into it and kind of just show you what I put together for a team and kind of just give you some insight. So first off, first thing I like to do is look at my opponent's team, which for this case is Southampton Staraptors. A great player, really good coach. Lewis is really stepping it up, I feel, each game, and I'm starting to get nervous that I might lose to him next time I play, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Anyway, focusing. First thing I do, look at his team and figure out what I want to sweep. This week, I didn't really see... I saw checks to Metagross, but they weren't alarming. Where Hippowdon and Cofagrigus, I felt I could get past pretty well, which were the only 2 major checks to Metagross. And Hippowdon, with the right investment, I felt I could handle with a Grass Knot. And then Cofagrigus, I felt I had the right team support that I could wear it down pretty quickly. So I opted to bring Metagross, set it up with Iron Head and Zen Headbutt, just because I didn't really want to miss, and Iron Head still does enough, and I felt I could get away with maybe not getting that +1 attack, which would be really nice, but I think we'll be okay. So, looking at his team, he did have a couple of faster threats that I was a little bit worried that could just come in and outspeed me and kill me. So I ended up choosing a Rock Polish set where I have just enough speed, like I said, focus on where you want your speed tiers to be, where if I could outpace a Scarf Keldeo at +2 or after 1 Rock Polish, I was happy. So that would be outpacing a majority of his team and kind of left me in a good spot. Opted to go Adamant just so I could break as many things as possible. And then I did have the option to go either maybe invest to make Grass Knot hit a little harder, but it was already a 2 KO. And I was kind of hoping that some of my other checks would wear hit down Hippowdon, so it wouldn't be too big of an issue. That I could just go away and just have 80 in HP to give me some boost. The next thing I kind of look at team building wise is then support, and especially support with rocks, which in league play is great because something like Metagross, which is such a huge hitter, a lot of people don't have the right checks or counters to hit it, so they have to go with a Sash and have just Mon just kill it instead. So really great thing to have a rocks just to make sure those are out of the way and just break sturdy in general. It's just the #1 move in the game. It's just you can't go without it. Sorry. Also in kind of a support mon, I want Healing Wish just to make sure like hacks happens, and while you certainly can't prepare for it well enough, it's always good to have a nice little fail switch safety net, just in case something just awful happens or a freeze happens, or so it's also something we're looking into, maybe putting Heal Bell on a mon, or maybe having an extra Wish Passer just to make sure that hacks isn't being the end of your game. While you certainly can't prepare for it enough, it's something nice to have where you know like even if something does go horribly wrong, you do have something to lean back onto. After that, I wanted Ice Beam because I wanted this to be a secondary Hippowdon check, so I can come in on an Earthquake, get an Ice Beam off, do a nice 50% probably, and be done with it. Psyshock again just hits everything hard, and I want enough speed to outspeed Tyrantrum, which was going to be just the hardest hitting thing he could have brought at me that Mesprit could outspeed, which is another thing you need to look into, where Mesprit pretty slow, so I'm not going to be able to outspeed things like his Darmanitan, his Jolteon, his Gardevoir Mega. So I can just go ahead and drop down my speed to the next fastest thing would be a Tyrantrum. So when you're doing that, this even applies with Scarfer too, where you want to outspeed his fastest thing, and then that you can catch, and then just put the rest into HP maybe to live a couple of hits, or maybe into special attack. So that's something you got to look into. Special attack wise, I probably could have gotten more in HP, but a real big focus was I was scared of a sub Gardevoir, so I want to make sure I had a couple things that could break its sub. And with this special attack investment, I could make sure that Side Shock was doing enough. So that's another thing you want to look into, like what's a common subsetter? Subseed Shaman, I guess. So maybe you want to make sure you have enough things that can break a sub, or sub anything really. Just want to make sure you can break subs. It's always something to look into. Next up, I wanted to kind of my first kind of switch into some of his bulkier, hard-hitting threats like Darmanitan, Tyrantrum. Not bulky, don't sure why I said that. Anyway, I didn't really have anything to switch into those comfortably, so I kind of looked to take advantage of a ability which can be a double-edged sword sometimes, where sorry, my throat's dry and now I'm guzzling water down when I'm trying to be professional to an extent. Okay, so going with a random ability, not a random, but like going with a secondary ability that could definitely be a double-edged sword, where it's either wearing you down or it's such an off-the-wall set that it ends up hurting you more than helping you. So it's something you really need to be careful of. But outside that, the Flame Orb just had a lot of upside, letting me let me live hits from Darmanitan just so easily. And if it was a Scarf Tyrantrum, which is kind of what I was predicting to kind of deal with Metagross well, it could live hits there too. So I kind of felt like that was a safe middle ground play. I could live hits better than I wanted to. And with Recover, Flame Orb wasn't going to be a huge nuisance to me. Things with walls now, where you can kind of, with the boost, I felt like I could live hits comfortably, so I decided to really invest to catch a Tyrantrum, which I knew was just going to be a huge issue for me, just because Head Smash is just such a huge deal where I wanted to make sure I was getting it close to knocked out. So invested in speed to outpace that, rest in the bulk just so I could live some hits. And that was kind of what I was going with. Sorry I'm not really going over moves. I'm just kind of more focusing on like why I'm bringing stuff and just kind of how to build it. I mean, if you really want to know each move individually, I can certainly talk to you about it and just kind of give you advice of what, like, I brought Drain Punch because hard-hitting move, brought Poison Jab because I knew Gardevoir maybe would want to try and set up. That's kind of why, but I feel like it's more self-explanatory, and the EVs are really where the meat of it is. Oh, look, someone's online. Wonder who that is. Okay, not important. Sorry, right, focus. So next up, my Bricklayer, Conkeldurr. Cofagrigus was still a huge threat to me, so I wanted to make sure I could get that weakened so that Metagross can have a nice, easy sweep. And also, we had a couple of special attackers that were wearing me, like Jolteon was going to be an issue, I knew. Keldeo was kind of checked by my other deck, but just to give me some backup to it. And Florges would also be an issue to an extent, not really. But, you know, just be safe. So, first thing I do is fully invest in the max attack because I knew the Assault Vest would kind of cover me defensively wise. And then I wanted to speed creep a little. 44. I believe that would be for a Mawile and potentially a Cacturn. I'm sorry, I don't really remember all the EVs. It's been a while. But that's kind of something you'll look into. Maybe getting the jump on something really close to you where it would just benefit you more to be able to outspeed. And that's kind of like the thought process there. Priority, always a really good thing to try and sneak on to someone where in league play where people are messing around with their HP investment or their defense or their speed, it's really just a nice thing to have is where you're getting all these mons that are just so close to one-hit KOs where you're just kind of missing out, and having part of like Mag Punch, Sucker Punch, Bullet Punch, it's really just a nice kind of cushion to have, especially if, say, you see a Sash and you don't get your rocks. It's just a quality thing to have. Kind of rambling here. But yeah, and Speed Creep, again, just to really reiterate, is really something you really want to try and do and just catch things off guard. You don't want to go crazy. You don't have to put like 20 in because he's going to out Speed Creep you, because if he's putting more speed in, that's less he's putting in somewhere else. So it's just enough to kind of worry your opponent. Don't overdo it. Okay, Sylveon, getting near the end of my team here. Wanted a Wall Breaker that would kind of just wreck mayhem on his team because he has no Steel type. He does have a Steel type Mawile, but it's not a defensive Steel type. And he had no true Poison type, so I knew he has Tentacruel. Okay, well, anyway, it was going to hit hard. That's why I wanted to bring it. And again, it could bring down Hippowdon, could bring down Cofagrigus, which were the two main things stopping my Metagross from sweeping. So I brought it in. And now, very generic EVs, I know. But, I mean, it was just the best thing I needed. I didn't really see need to put anything into speed to try and catch. It was just, is what it was, is what it is. and there's left outs comfortable. Don't always have to go crazy with your EVs, but it's certainly something you want to look into. Baton pass is kind of the thing I want to point out here, where in League it's all about counter team. So they're going to bring in their counter to your mon. So being able to U-turn, volt switch, or baton pass, even if it's not going to do damage or do a lot of damage, it's still nice to kind of get out of there and see what he wants to bring in. So I definitely recommend scouting a lot. Really good good move to have, and just kind of get an idea of what their switch into you is, and so you can start playing around next time it comes back out. And then lastly, on a team where I was revolving it around a rock polish kind of setup sweeper, I knew it was going to be hard because while I can kill just about anything on this team, I wasn't really going to be able to set up on a lot of things. So that's kind of what I was looking to do. Brought Memento, and then from there, Guard Fort was still kind of a threat to me, so I just wanted enough special defense so I can live a hit and then maybe set up on it if I wanted to, or kill it with a Shadow Punch, which I think it does over half. And then Stable and Taunt, obviously, again, can just give me some more setup opportunities. So it was my 6th times by now. You kind of have your team pretty much built, and this is just a Gloomon, which it really helped out my Metagross. Other options I could have maybe gone with is maybe a Choice Scarfer, maybe brought my Tauros and brought it for late game if Metagross fell apart, or another Wall Breaker is never a bad option just to give him some more pressure to go along with my Conkeldurr and my Sylveon. So I mean, you can definitely play around with this 6-mon in most teams, unless you're really struggling to check a bunch of threats. But I mean, at that point, I might want to reconsider how you're building your team. So I think that's all I really wanted to do with my battle against Southampton Staraptors. Was a victory, really close game. I feel like my team really performed how I wanted it to, so I definitely recommend watching that replay. If there's enough interest, maybe I'll narrate it. I don't think I will, though, but like I said, enough interest, I'll do anything. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover in about 12 minutes. So if you have any questions, definitely feel free to ask, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I covered a lot of good things team building wise, and my team for Sleen, I feel like, had a lot of good things also with it, so I'll definitely try to get that out soon. Yeah, I think that's it. Adios. See ya. Peace. Bam. Chicka bam. I'm thirsty. Bye.